Well, in undergrad, my grades weren't that great. I had a GPA of about 3.2, which is pretty low compared to the average for vet school. So I had to take 3 years off in between my undergrad and applying for veterinary school. So I worked in a clinic for 2 years, and then after that I actually became a high school teacher. And I actually applied the year before while I was in the clinic. The year that I was a high school teacher, that's the year that I got in. So I think having a little extra stuff under my belt is what made me stand out more. The fact that there's only a city here because of the school, so everything is very close. It takes, without traffic, it takes about 5 minutes to get everywhere, or anywhere. So the toughest part about the application process was the personal statement and all the essays, because I don't want to say I'm a bad writer, I just don't really enjoy writing that much, and it took me about 3 months per essay, just going over them. I gave them to my sister to read and reread. Her father is an editor, so I had him read them over too, and then so my mom read them, my sister read them, my sister's dad read them, and I think I have about at least 5 drafts for each essay. So to prepare, like I said, my GPA wasn't the best in undergrad. It was lower than the average for pretty much every vet school. So I took some extra time off to pad up my resume. I studied really hard for the GRE, and then once I got my interview, I did a lot of research beforehand, looking up practice interview questions and just looked up stuff, controversial issues in vet medicine, that sort of thing. Said, anytime they ask you about controversial issues, make sure to stick to your guns. Because if they find out that you are iffy about euthanasia, they're going to give you a lot of questions that have to do with euthanasia where it's not all black and white. There's a lot of gray area. So, sometimes euthanasia is good, sometimes it's bad. They're going to ask you scenarios where it could be both, and you have to choose. Very easy, actually, because I actually think it's kind of like high school, because the same people that you hang out with on the weekends are the same people that you're sitting next to in class every day. And I'm actually the social chair for our class, so I plan events to keep us away from the books at times so we're not, losing our minds. For example, I'm trying to plan a movie night, video game tournament, field day with a bunch of goofy events to get everybody out of the house a little bit. So things like that I'm trying to do, and like I said, I think it's pretty easy to balance social life. For potential applicants, try to stand out. If you can, don't be another animal science major, biology major, chemistry major, because not saying that it's bad to do that, but if you want to do something like film major or dance major, do that, because it's not going to count against you. As long as you have the prerequisites to get into the school, they will accept you. And after looking at all of those applications that say biology, chemistry, microbiology, they see something that says film or dance or English, and it's going to make you jump off the page. I probably would have studied a little more in undergrad, so I wouldn't have had to wait 3 years to get in, but I am glad that I did. I probably would have done a different major than biology, because I did take some other classes while I was at FSU that were very entertaining, and I wish I could have had more time to take some of those classes, but I didn't because I had so many prerequisites for the biology major. So I've probably taken a different major. Like I mentioned earlier, I love film. I took a few film classes that I thought were extremely interesting, and I wish I would have had more time to fit those in. So I applied 2 years in a row. The first year I did not get in to either school I applied to. The second year I applied to more schools, and I got in to all schools except one. So that was pretty encouraging the second year. The first year was pretty discouraging, even though I only applied to 2 schools, but that just goes to show that in case, don't be discouraged if you don't get in, like some people. Just try again. Sometimes I've heard people that have gotten in on their 3rd and 4th, even 5th try. So don't give up. Keep padding up that resume. If your personal statement isn't as good as you'd want it to be, keep working on that too. My second time applying, I actually got into 5 different schools. 5 different schools. And I ended up picking UF above all the rest of them because it has so many more options. The vet hospital there has a million different things that you can do, and it's more up my alley. For I want to specialize, I want to go into academia, and UF just has those opportunities available. Well, not to condone texting and driving, I was at a red light and checked my email, and I had to pull over and call my mom, and I had a little a fangirl moment, like, and it was just pretty emotional. So a lot of people talk about how stressful, how difficult vet school is and all that stuff, but really it's what you make of it. So don't let that discourage you from applying. I've heard a lot of people that don't apply because they think, oh, it's going to be too hard, that's not for me. Don't do that. If it's something you want to do, apply. Get in, you will get through it. Okay, it's not just you, you have 112 other classmates that are there to help you, not to mention the teachers and staff and faculty. So you can get through it. Go Gators! Go Gators! Go Gators!